Hi, this is Paul Sackis, Good News Planet. I'm speaking to Jerry Greenfield. Hi, Jerry. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Okay, good. Jerry is the well-known, famous Ben and Jerry. You are the Jerry of the Ben and Jerry's, isn't that so?
Got to be somebody.
And if I was with you right now, this is via the telephone here, but if we were close, you would, I think, as I have learned and seen, you would be giving somebody, maybe even me, a hug.
I'm a big believer in hugs, and I am now a 100% hugger. I am all in.
So I met Jerry at a wonderful event here at St. Francis College in Brooklyn, a Tom Volpe series, and I was just totally, utterly enthralled with all the good, kind corporate citizenship and human citizenship that he shares. Our TV studios here in Brooklyn, I think maybe a place that you might know a little bit about, and so give us a little bit of a background on the history of yourself and some of your good corporate outreach and things that you do and that you love to do.
Sure. Well, Ben and I are old friends from junior high school. We grew up in Long Island, and we were failing at most of the things we were doing. So in 1978, we opened up a homemade ice cream parlor in Burlington, Vermont, with no grand ambitions or plans to do anything more than that. And over the years, the company grew, and I think we started to realize the role that business plays in society and wanted to try to use our business as a force for good.
Mm-hmm. And his history has continued on through even a big purchase with a big company. You were saying to this audience that you still maintained your beliefs in good corporate citizenship, and in a buyout. It was a buyout or purchase or merger, however.
Yeah, the company got acquired.
Your scoop with you.
I was saying the company got acquired in the year 2000 by Unilever, which is this large conglomerate that has food products and also personal care products. But the mission of Ben & Jerry's continues. There's a social mission that is equally important to the product mission and the economic mission, and Ben & Jerry's tries to integrate social and environmental concerns into the normal day-to-day business activities, how the company sources ingredients or comes up with new flavors or does marketing, things like that. Ben & Jerry's is now converted to 100% fair trade ingredients, and the company is also transitioning to become 100% non-GMO by the end of 2014. So there are some good things going on at Ben & Jerry's.
And have for a long time. Where do you think in your own self, in your own being, that in essence doing good with that mission in mind and not in essence always fully the bottom line in mind, where do you think that came? What inspired you?
I think it's just who Ben and I are as people. It's actually the way most people are. I think when people get into business, they either hear the conventional business wisdom that you can't do things like that it takes away from your ability to make money. But Ben and I, fortunately or unfortunately, never had any business training, and we always felt like business was a neighbor in the community. It happens to be a fairly wealthy neighbor, but neighbors help take care of neighbors. And, it's just kind of funny. It's not rocket science that the idea that as the business takes care of the community supports the business. It's really just common sense.
And you're also very involved with your own local community, the Vermont community. You're very true to it.
Yeah, Ben and Jerry's continues to manufacture ice cream here in Vermont. About 80% of the ice cream that's sold in the U.S. is made here in Vermont. We have 2 manufacturing plants. The company also uses milk and cream from Vermont family farmers in the St. Albans Co-op. I love being in Vermont, and I feel like we've been very lucky to be here.
It's a great state. I love being up there myself. What? Just a foodie question. How do you come up with some of your flavors? What was the first flavor that you guys created?
Well, back in the old days, we started with vanilla, chocolate, coffee, strawberry, the real basics, because you need to learn how to make your basic flavors really great first. Ben then started coming up with flavors with big chunks of cookies and candies. Ben created Toffee Bar Crunch and Fish Food and Cherry Garcia. And now there's about, 5 or 6 people at Ben & Jerry's who all they do is come up with new flavors. They work on them all year. Some people think it's a dream job. I'm not sure it's all that fun all the time, but they do an amazing job of coming up with new flavors for Ben & Jerry's.
Frozen yogurt area, that's...
Yeah, Ben & Jerry's, I think a couple of years ago, well, we've made low-fat frozen yogurt for years. Chocolate fudge brownie frozen yogurt, Cherry Garcia, and then a couple of years ago, Ben & Jerry's came out with Greek frozen yogurt, and that's been doing very well for the company. So, I think people like lower-fat alternatives, but ice cream still sells a lot more than frozen yogurt for Ben & Jerry's. I guess people want a treat every once in a while, and they want the most indulgent, best-tasting products out there.
Now, you that's true, and they are magnificent. Your ice cream is phenomenal, and your yogurt is phenomenal. You won this year the foundation, of which I believe you're the president, a National Committee Responsive Philanthropy Corporate Grant Making. Tell us a little bit about the foundation.
Sure. So Ben & Jerry's has had a foundation since 1985. And the foundation primarily funds organizations doing grassroots organizing for social change. And the interesting thing about the Ben & Jerry's Foundation is that the decision-making for grants is done by employee groups at the company. They're people who work at Ben & Jerry's who volunteer their time. They meet monthly to go over grant requests, and the idea for that came because we realized that the people who are working at the company are actually the ones who are doing all the work that makes the money that funds the foundation, and they ought to be the ones who help make those decisions.
Now, you've also taken on the environmental. Our company, our Good News broadcast company, we're actually right behind you guys here at the People's Climate March. We wanted to be the last group, and so you were right in front of us, and we put a big story up about you being there at the People's Climate March. How do you think we're doing here with the environment? Your float didn't seem like we were doing too well.
The float we had was this giant ice cream cone on it, and with the saying, if it's melted, it's ruined. And painted on the ice cream cone was a picture of the earth. And, it's true for ice cream that when it melts, it's ruined. And I think it's going to be true for our wonderful planet, that if we don't take charge of things, global warming and global climate change is going to be a real problem. How are we doing? Well, we're making a little progress. I think we certainly could be doing better, and I think there needs to be a much greater sense of urgency. Part of the problem is that you don't see the immediate problems from the overall issue. It's going to develop over years, but we need to be dealing with our carbon emissions now, and we need to be really doing some dramatic changes for it.
Well, you guys are just such great corporate citizens. Let me ask you two last questions. You're a busy guy. This is going to be a business leader special, Jerry, and thanks for your inspiration that you've given to so many corporations. That's really super. My last two questions are, what is good news for you?
Well, I'm still eating plenty of ice cream. That's good news. My favorite flavor is Americone Dream, vanilla ice cream with a caramel swirl and fudge-covered pieces of waffle cones. So, I think when the day comes that I don't want to eat ice cream anymore, that will be a very sad day, but I don't see it coming. And our last question, since we are, I don't know if you know about it, but we're very involved with world peace, and especially the International Day of Peace, which is September 21st. We created the largest human peace sign in Times Square in Central Park in Silicon Valley, and we're trying to throw a big party. Actually, I want to discuss it with you for the International Day of Peace. A Peace Day party, so that's where our efforts are very much focused on, and so we'd like to give ice cream to everybody on the planet, and so, but my question is this: what is peace for you? It's a lot more than the absence of people fighting, but the idea of having people not fighting is a great place to start. I am just perplexed at the way humans try to kill each other. It's something I've never been able to figure out. I spend a decent amount of time wondering about it. I haven't come up with any answers, and I think if we could just bring love, and that's kind of a cliche when you talk about love, but I think in the big picture, when you think about the world in a spiritual way, and you think about God or whatever you want to think about, that love is really what it's all about, and we need much more compassion in our lives. Okay, Jerry, thank you so much. Tom Volpe knows who to ask to speak at his lecture series here at St. Francis. It was arousing. Plus, you come with ice cream. I mean, everybody was, in addition to listening to you, enjoying the rest of the day. So thank you so much for sharing good news with us, and we look forward to spending more time with you. Thank you for sharing. Great talking with you. Thanks.